everybody. I'm Larry Ridley. You're tuned in to the NFL on EA Sports. It's a fresh start throughout the league here in Week 1 as these two teams have high hopes for the season ahead. It's the Colts going up against the Jaguars. The opening kick of the new season is straight ahead as we turn it over to our broadcast duo of Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Larry, thanks. EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Sunshine State and Everbank Field here in Jacksonville. Today we jump right into this new season with an AFC South matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Alongside my partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you look at this Jaguar team. An early season tilt, and when it's an early season tilt, should be ready to roll.
Well, let's face it, the aches and pains haven't really set in yet, and both teams eyeing a really good start to get things going.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Colts, and I don't think from what we saw down on the field before the game, there's any doubt they're ready to roll.
They passed the eye test, don't they? This team looks fired up and ready to play.
This one taken from the 7. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So the Colts now coming out for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their 6'5" quarterback out of North Dakota State. It's Carson Wentz.
He didn't have as many throws or plays in college as many of the quarterbacks that were coming out in the draft, but he maximized what he had. Ended up winning 2 national championships as a starting quarterback at North Dakota State.
First touch of the game here for Benny Cunningham. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. The wide receivers, often a very, very talented group, and that's the case here.
And they don't mind showcasing it either. Those guys love to be flashy, love to make big plays out in the open field. They will attempt to do so in this game.
Single receiver. Hey, you're on an island over there. Single receiver. Let's go. Blue, land it.
Wentz to throw on 2nd down. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
All right, here we go.
On 1st and 10, here's Wentz. He finds his target, Terrence Williams. And he's brought down. 15 yards there on the catch and run. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there. If he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
They get 25 yards out of that one. And that'll be good for an Indianapolis first.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
Again, Cunningham here on the ground. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Benny Cunningham, a 9-yard touchdown run. And the Colts take it right down and score on the opening drive. And they do exactly what they wanted to. Opening drive, they get into the end zone. They do it on the ground.
And not only is the person lugging the ball happy, of course, because he got it into the end zone. How about the offensive linemen and receivers who are blocking for him? They have to feel great about themselves, sticking it in the end zone on a running play.
So here's the first drive now for the Jags. They'll be led out by the first pick of the second round back in 2001, and that's the veteran Drew Brees.
Drew Brees' accomplishments have been borderline astounding. When you look back at what people thought about him coming out of college, so-called height issue, you name it, he can do it. And boy, does he prepare well for each and every game.
They come out with one back and three tight ends. They go play action here on first down. Flushed out right. And he hits his target. This is Luke Stocker. And he's brought down. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
Now it's AP, Adrian Peterson. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
Second down to the offense in search of 6 yards. They run again with Peterson. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or 2 short here with third down coming up. And now a look at the defense for the Colts.
I played college football at the same time as T.J. McDonald's father, Tim. And what a great player he was. T.J. definitely is following in his father's footsteps.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here.
Here we go.
They'll run it. Here's Peterson. And some space here. And he's got the first down yardage before being taken down at midfield. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains. So the offense has it 1st and 10.
Well, partner, they might want to tear up their scouting reports a little bit here because they just put a tendency. Third down, you don't ordinarily see a toss. They ran it really well and picked up the first down. I love the way the edges were sealed, which allowed him to get to the corner.
And I guess, Charles, sometimes when you have a receiver well over 6 foot, you do that. Just put it up there, let him grab it, and he did.
And it certainly appears like a 50-50 ball, right? We always talk about that one.
And Peterson, what happened? He lost the football. There he goes, left side. The 40, 30, the 20, 10, 5, and they are going to score on the fumble return. Touchdown, Indianapolis. And now the Jags defense deciding to call a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. And the coach has decided to challenge this play. He has tossed down the red flag.
After review of the play, the field stands.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player, you threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
And he got blown up on that play, back at the 20. So a loss of 5, and it'll be second down.